nation that cannot control its borders is not a nation. Ronald Reagan. A large problem our country faces today is the problem of illegal immigration. It has caused our streets to become more dangerous, our citizens to become more oppressed, and our economy to become more weak. Border control must be strengthened in America for 3 reasons: the rise of crime rates, the tax burden on our citizens, and the stress on our communities and economy. The first problem that arises from illegal immigration is the rise of crime. Hans A. von Spakovsky, a writer from the Heritage Foundation, determined that, quote, almost half of all the criminals prosecuted in federal courts in 2018 were illegal aliens, charged with crimes ranging from drug trafficking to murder to kidnapping. While a small number of those over 41,000 criminals were in the country legally, the vast majority, 38,000, were illegal aliens. Compare this to 1998, when there were only a little over 18,000 aliens prosecuted in federal court, end quote. He goes on to report that not only has our lack of control at the border created an uptick in crime, but has also allowed for many frequent offenders to be let back in the country. Quote, for instance, of the illegal aliens prosecuted in 2018, 12.5% had at least one prior federal or state criminal conviction. 18.5% had 2 to 4 prior convictions, and over 10% had 5 or more convictions, end quote. Our current immigration policies have allowed the crime rate in our nation to rise. The second result of our lax immigration policies is the tax burden it places on our citizens. With many illegal immigrants entering our country, the amount of people needing government assistance has greatly increased. This puts them in the prime spot for government aid, which is paid for by our tax-paying citizens. The more people who immigrate, the more need for government aid, the more money needed and taken from the hardworking American citizens and legal immigrants. Furthermore, those able to get jobs are stealing them from current citizens and legal immigrants in need of work. Our policies are creating a rise in taxes and unemployment, both of which are burdening our citizens, while benefiting illegal immigrants. The third problem with our illegal immigration is the stress it places on our communities and economy. The overflow of illegal immigrants leads to overpopulation, which strains both our natural and unnatural resources. Lawyer Ann Coulter said, quote, according to the California Hospital Association, health care for illegal aliens is costing state taxpayers well over $1 billion a year. 84 hospitals across California have already been forced to close because of unpaid bills by illegal aliens, end quote. Illegal immigration has placed stress on our schools, healthcare, and housing, as well as natural resources such as food and water. Unfortunately, there's not just one simple policy which can be enacted to fix these problems in our country. Instead, we must reform many different policies and procedures already in place. We must get Congress to provide funds to build a secure border wall, as well as to increase the amount of people able to investigate border issues. We need legislation to reform the process by which people enter the country in order to weed out potential terrorists and disallow entry to frequent offenders. Furthermore, we need stricter policies for the detention and deportation of illegal immigrants. By enacting these reforms, we will be able to start fixing the problematic outcomes of illegal immigration. We will start to see a decrease in crime since our immigration procedures will detect terrorists and criminals and will not allow them in our country. By forcing legal immigration, criminals will be less likely to try to immigrate, and those who are immigrating will gain a better respect for our country, which will help to deter crime. We will relieve the burden placed on our current citizens by slowing the amount of people flooding our government programs and by creating more taxpayers. Quote, illegal immigration costs taxpayers $45 billion a year in healthcare, education, and incarceration expenses, end quote, Rick Keller. By reforming our immigration laws, the amount of taxes paid by current citizens for illegal immigrants would drop, lifting the financial burden placed upon them. Lastly, we will take the pressure off of our communities and economy. As Timothy Murphy said, quote, illegal immigration is a crisis for our country. It is an open door for drugs, criminals, and potential terrorists to enter our country. It is straining our economy, adding costs to our judicial, healthcare, and educational systems, end quote. By ending illegal immigration, it will relieve the stress placed on our communities and will allow for a better quality of life for our current legal citizens. Our policies towards immigration must be reformed and strengthened by congressional action, as illegal immigration produces a rise in crime and increases tax burden on our citizens and stresses our economy. By enacting these policies to mitigate illegal immigration and providing funding for more secure borders, we will lower crime rates, decrease tax burden, and make a more stable economy. Quote, I think the American people have a generous instinct. They understand that we are a nation of immigrants. But if these people are going to live in this country, they have to be put on a pathway to citizenship, involving paying a fine, making sure they're at the back of the line, and not cutting in front of people who applied legally to come into this country. End quote, Barack Obama. If we claim to be a country founded in the values of freedom and prosperity, we must end illegal immigration in order to protect the rights of our citizens and legal immigrants.